again. I promise you tonight I have got it together with this Restream platform. There's not going to be any video showing, I don't think. So we shouldn't have any delays. I have everything ready. I have the document lined up, and I'm going to be reading through it. This is the Jonesworks versus Wayfarer Parties lawsuit. It's got a lot of extra meat on the bones in relation to the Justin Baldoni versus Blake Lively case that obviously I have been doing a lot of readings of. I've made videos about it. I've read the depositions. This lawsuit in particular talks a lot about the smear websites, which I also have content on, and I have a video coming out tomorrow night with some more insight into Alexa Nicholas and the alleged smear websites concerning her. So I'm going to be reading through, I'm going to be giving you some little bits of extra research. And yeah, that's about it. So this is what we are going to be reading tonight. You go through. There we go. It says, Supreme Court of the State of New York, County of New York, Stephanie Jones, Jonesworks, LLC. Plaintiffs against Jennifer Abel, Melissa Nathan, Justin Baldoni, Wayfarer Studios, LLC, and John Doe's 1 to 10. And it's a summons from Kristen Thaler, who is from the Quinn Emanuel, Urquhart and Sullivan Legal Law Partnership. Does that stand for? I believe that's where Alex Spiro is from. Alex Spiro represents Jay-Z. He represented, am I right in thinking he represents Megan Thee Stallion? Also Travis Scott. So there's a lot of crossover with these law firms and their clients. I'm going to skip past that bit very quickly, which is their addresses. So this is the nature of the case. It says, defendants Abel and Nathan secretly conspired for months to publicly and privately attack Jones and Jonesworks, to breach multiple contracts and induce contractual breaches, and to steal clients and business prospects. Behind Jones's back, they secretly coordinated with Baldoni and Wayfarer to implement an aggressive media smear campaign against Baldoni's film co-star, and then used the crisis as an opportunity to drive a wedge between Jones and Baldoni, and to publicly pin blame for this smear campaign on Jones, when Jones had no knowledge or involvement in it. To this day, Abel and Nathan continue to point the finger falsely at Jones, now that their own misconduct is coming to light, and to defame and attack Jones in the industry. Baldoni and Wayfarer, who have since parted ways with Jones Works, have repudiated their contractual obligations with Jones Works and rebuffed Jones' efforts to settle this dispute privately in arbitration. You see that? They've refused any efforts to resolve these issues out of court. This lawsuit seeks to finally put a stop to their continued misconduct and to compensate Jones and Jones Works for the damage defendants' conduct and scheme has inflicted. Stephanie Jones is a highly respected public relations expert who focuses on corporate and personal publicity. She really is. This ain't no BS. Stephanie Jones really is a highly respected PR company. She is the owner of a PR company which is highly respected. Through her company, Jones Works, she has represented many high-profile celebrities, athletes, companies, and business people. Among Jones Works' clients were Baldoni, a well-known actor, director and producer, and Wayfarer, his movie production company. Baldoni produced and directed and co-starred in the film It Ends With Us in connection with the film's release in August 2024. Baldoni began to fear that the media might report on allegations of misogynistic and toxic on-set behavior and that the fallout would be harmful to his reputation and career. That is the heart of the matter. That is the heart of the matter right there. Determined to protect his reputation, Baldoni and Wayfarer's CEO, Jamie Heath, turned to Abel, who had become the point person at Jones Works on the Baldoni and Wayfarer account. Abel brought on crisis fixer Melissa Nathan to help her manage the situation. Together, Abel and Nathan, with Heath's active encouragement, conspired to shut Jones out of the process and keep their strategy hidden from her. Abel and Nathan sprang into action, scheming to bury and destroy co-star Blake Lively to protect Baldoni. Their plan was covert, deliberately concealed from Jones, and went far beyond the legitimate scope of Abel's employment. At the same time, Abel and Nathan were pursuing a far more selfish purpose: tearing down Jones's reputation to take her clients and enrich themselves upon Abel's planned departure from Jones Works. Yeah. So we get to the first receipt. Let me just check the chat. I know. Concitizen is here. Woo! Okay. So this was on the 29th of July, 2024. And remember, the reason why we have these text messages is because Jennifer Abel was working at Jones Works and she thought she was being really smart. She thought she could leave and take clients with her, having previously signed a contract and an NDA, which specifically meant if she did that, she'd be breaching her contract. She also was using a work phone as a personal phone, so she had to hand in her phone, and that is how we have all these messages. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't have even known half of this stuff. That's why it's so beautiful. So yeah, on the 29th of July, 2024, Melissa Nathan texted Jennifer Abel, "I know. And once you are gone, We will be on accounts together and make really good money and be happy. That was at 3:03 p.m. At 5:21 p.m., she texted, oh, sorry, this was on the 9th of August, 2024. Let's just keep it steering that way. And you take this effing client and never talk to her again. I swear to God. So yeah, that sounds like she was persuading her or encouraging her to leave her job at Jones Works and come and work with her, make lots of money and be happy. Only we know she's not happy. Avarice, not any sincere appreciation for Baldoni, was Nathan and Abel's motivation. Abel's candid communications revealed that she in fact held Baldoni personally in extremely low regard. On the 14th of January 2024, she messaged about him. I can't stand him. He's so pompous. A men's retreat during release? Is he crazy? And being off the grid for the summer because he's just so overworked. Like, calm down. You're not that important, and nobody gives a ish how hard your life is. This is how she talks about her client behind his back to his face. It's like, oh, Justin, I think you look so good in that pink shirt and wife beater vest. He doesn't need a retreat. He needs to be humbled. When his movie flops, he's going to try to blame every person around him for it. Yeah, wasn't she texting him? Oh, you and Emily are couple goals as well. Couple goal. This doesn't sound like she really thinks he's couple goals. Again on the 14th of January, he may fire us because even if we put together an amazing campaign, it's not going to change the fact that he's so unlikable and unrealistic as a leading man. So this is where they're obviously discussing the lead up to the film's not even finished yet. Remember, they've done a few weeks of filming and then they've had to stop. Jamie Heath's called them in like November with the list of safety protocols for back to work from Blake Lively's lawyer. Now we're in January. They've had the production meeting with Blake Lively and her husband. And Justin's freaking out, and the Baha'i bros are telling him he's been ambushed and he's working with the devil and they're all going to pray for him. Meanwhile, Jennifer's over here saying all this about him, but a completely different story to his face. And that's the thing I was thinking. It's like no one could tell him what they really thought of him to his face. But then when people on the cast of his movie did, or the crew, he reacted with intense anger. And by the looks of it, retaliation. Months earlier, Abel had voiced the same opinion in connection with a filmed kissing scene between Baldoni and Lively, which was described to Abel as so gross, and revealed that Abel was well aware of Lively's on-set complaints about Baldoni's behaviour. She said, on the 13th of January, it's so cringy, his face. So I guess they were talking about the unauthorized kissing scene. Blake was probably grossed out too. Yeah, and filed a cease and desist. She didn't, but the fact that Jennifer Abel's saying that at the same time as Abel and Nathan were working to protect Baldoni from negative press attention, They were actively working their media contacts to plant negative stories about Jones and Jones' works. Central to Abel and Nathan's personal vendetta against Jones was an August 2024 Business Insider article entitled, "Who's Afraid of Stephanie Jones?" that Abel and Nathan coordinated with a friendly reporter. Indeed, as early as July 29, 2024, Abel and Nathan were coordinating their outreach to Katie Warren, the Business Insider reporter who eventually published the article attacking Jones. And on the 29th of July, which was, we know, when they were in discussion with the Wayfarer people about taking over this account, she said, Jennifer texted Melissa at 10 to 9 at night, "Did you by chance chat with Katie, the journo?" Melissa replied, "No, she's calling me soon. Actually, should be very soon. Probably in the next 10 minutes." Conversations between Abel and Nathan show close coordination with Warren, including numerous lengthy phone calls between Abel and Warren between July 30th and August 12th. Abel also facilitated Warren's outreach to former clients of Jones in order to further disrupt Jones' Works business and negatively influence the coverage. This included putting Warren in touch with a client with whom Jones had worked closely for years, bringing her from obscurity to prominence, and who terminated her contract with Jones as a direct result of Abel's encouragement and deliberate interference. Now, I was literally wondering who this client was. Because Jennifer Abel did leave and she did take some of the clients. One of them being Jamila Jamil. But I'm not actually sure. They haven't linked the article. Business Insider article. Let me see if I can bring it up. But anyway, I was going to show you. Oh. One thing I will say is when I change the screen I'm sharing, sometimes it messes me about. Okay. So yeah. It says in AI overview that Jones Works is still representing her, but I'm pretty sure they're not, because I'm pretty sure she's represented by Jen Abel. And also I was like, was she relatively unknown? I mean, she is from the UK, so, but I was looking at this, is it showing it? I was looking at this. Yeah. So, Vogue cover. There she is. And I was like, let's have a look who else is it. Because I have been saying in some of my other lives that I did used to work with a lot of celebrities. So there's a few of them in this picture. So that's Kate Moss. Used to work with her loads. I think there was Cara Delevingne. This girl, I think her name is Shalom. She's a model. I definitely used to work with her quite a lot. I might have her confused with someone else because she was like one of the kind of like 90s, 2000 early supermodel girls. That's Linda Evangelista. I've met her. This is Karen Elson. Now, I have really good things to say about her because we were on a shoot once and she stuck up for us when the hairdresser was really rude. He was really rude to me and my assistant in front of her. We were all working together in the trailer. And she was like, "You can't speak to them like that." And I was like, "Yeah, you tell him, girl." So she will always get my respect. Anyway, let me look at this Business Insider article quickly. Okay, we can show it. Let's see. I hate that picture. It's awful. I think she's a good-looking woman, Stephanie Jones. She's very polished. Here we go, Katie Warren. So obviously, that's her client, Tom Brady. This is talking about the website. Calling her a polarizing figure. She declined a request, multiple requests for an on-the-record interview for this story. I'm not surprised. I just think that, like, if you don't work in PR, why would you care about this stuff, honestly? Like, we all know it's all false. Like, all of their stories are false. They don't even like their clients. I'm flicking through it. I can't see Paul Pagila. Who the hell's that? Adam Schonberg. There's a lot of stuff about The Rock, which we're going to get on to him. Oh, look, it's Scooter Braun. He's been Jones's client for more than a decade. BJ told, oh my God, it's just really like a reach, this article. Anyway, I couldn't see anything about Jamila Jamil, so I don't know who they were referring to. But that's the article. Johnson. Who's Johnson? Oh, so they're talking about Dwayne Johnson leaving. I mean, he's got a lot of problems going on. But you know what? We're gonna get onto that in a minute. Because I found out something earlier that I did not know. It's all about this journalist, Matthew Baldoni. Um, yeah, it seems like he's got a bit of a grudge against her as well, you know. Anyway, that's that. Okay, let's go back to the lawsuit. Close all these tabs. Am I getting better at this? I'm going to get rid of Jamila Jamil. I'll leave her up just in case. Okay. Where was I? Hi, Kayla. Let me know, guys, if you guys have any questions. I can't get my words out. Let me know if you guys have anything you want to ask. Okay. On the eve of the article's release, Nathan boasted about the destructive effect this story would have on Jones. I don't think it really hit how she thought it was going to hit, in all honesty, but mocking Jones in a text to Abel and jokingly suggesting that Abel should tell Jones. So Melissa texted Jennifer, Stephanie, are you aware there is a kill story dropping this week on you? And if you hadn't have blown us up, we would not have been in such a bad place. So this is really interesting because we now know, because of Justin Baldoni's deposition, that it was her that blew herself up. She was in fact the person leaking the stories. But she is pretending to Jennifer that Stephanie was the one leaking information, particularly about Justin having a crisis PR. Abel and Nathan's conspiracy to take down Jones was virulent and effective, which they themselves recognized was fueled by society's natural willingness to tear down successful women, and they capitalized on this for their own gain. Well, this is the thing about it, is what we found out from these messages and from these lawsuits is that there is a willingness in society to tear down successful women, but it's very much fueled by the kind of trash stuff that people like Melissa and the journalist she conspires with create. And then on top of it, they've got Jed Wallace doing all his SEO manipulating. So yeah, I wonder how willing people would be to do it without those people being paid so much money to do that. I really do. The text says, it's actually sad. This is from Melissa. It's actually sad because it just shows you have people really want to hate on women. Now, I think she's actually talking about herself, actually, there. And I really think, because I've not said this before, but she was taking Ozempic. And I'm like, that to me is a sign you're not happy with yourself. That really is. It tells me a lot. Especially when it was making you as ill as you say it was. And you're actually falling for all of this stuff. Like, the fact that you take Ozempic makes me think that you are a victim of the anti-women propaganda that is put out in the very magazines that you work with. Um, Jennifer said, "I know it is sad." And then Melissa said, oh, sorry, then Jennifer said, "But then, like, don't be a C word." Um, so yeah, I think they swear. I can't believe how much they swear as well, because I was thinking about this and I'm like, yeah, I used to swear a lot, but I never used to swear in messages. Not really. I don't think I did anyway. Not as much as this lot. As her planned departure neared, Abel boasted to Nathan about the damage she was doing to Jones Works, her then current employer, and Nathan goaded her on. Jennifer messages Melissa, "We are going to war. I feel so alive. Ha 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 ha." And I'm like, that's the other thing about this lot, yeah? These people that claim that they're innocent, and they were just doing their job. There was no smearing going on. It was all organic. Their language is so aggressive and combative all the time, but yet the people on the other side, they don't send messages like that. Their messages are all like really kind of nice and friendly, using emojis. And yeah, I just can't help noticing that. Like, Justin's literally wanting to go to war as well. So Melissa texts back, "Going out of JW with a bang." Abel and Nathan also conspired to ensure that Wayfarer and Baldoni would leave Jones Works and come with Abel to her planned new firm. And this is not, this cannot be disputed with these messages. This is not alleged. We have the receipts. And this shows you how manipulative and smarmy and two-faced this woman is. She's messaging Jen, and I can't understand whether it's 4:40 a.m. in the morning or they're on a different time zone. Because Melissa's in LA and Jennifer's in New York, so she would have been like 5 hours ahead. Anyway, she said, "Just had a nice conversation with Justin. Just him and me. I explained to him a few things. And my conversations with Leslie. He's like, don't help her." And I'm like, this is when they're meant to be on a truce. They've been advised by the Sony executives and everyone, the WME agent. You guys need to stop messing around with this movie promotion and chill out. It's really unprofessional. It's not a good look. And so they had agreed, no one speak to any press. We'll wait for it to die down. And he's like, don't help her. Does that sound like someone that's cooperating with that? I'm like, I'm not helping her. I'm telling her what we're not doing. And she needs to also not do anything. And my last conversation with her was last Wednesday or so. And then I couldn't help myself. I ended it with, and then you see how she like builds it up. "And I'm just going to step out of line before I go to bed and tell you, Jen is amazing. She's so loyal. She loves you so much. And you have to go with her." And he was like, "Oh my God, of course I'm going with her. Don't kill me. Okay, bye." And then Jennifer's like, "Ha ha ha. Oh my God, love you. Thanks for chatting with him." So if anyone can't see how They saw this guy coming from a mile off. They're like, "This guy has billionaire backing who is already on board with us lawyering up with the solicitor, with the attorney that she suggested, because Jennifer's already said he needs a litigation lawyer." Um, yeah, it's just really funny that still in the deposition, Jamie still didn't seem to see that, or Justin. They still don't see it, how they were being manipulated into this, because it seems to me to be so obvious. By the time Jones became aware of the plot in August 2024 and terminated Abel, it was too late and the damage was done. Abel had already stolen more than 70 proprietary and sensitive business documents and additional client leads from Jones work. So I think she was literally sending herself to a different email address, like contracts, templates, anything that could help her with her new business and client leads. And anyone in a professional environment knows this is not legal. Like, you're told it when you sign on for your job. Beyond those documents, Abel left Jones Works with Baldoni and Wayfarer in tow and immediately opened shop at her own competing firm, which she had set up while working at Jones Works. She further sought to poach employees in violation of the non-compete and non-solicitation provisions in her contract. Duh. And for their part, encouraging Abel and leaving with her. Wayfarer and Baldoni breached their own contract with Jones Works, which I said this right at the beginning. I hadn't even read this and I was like, they must have had a contract. You can't just leave without good reason. You will still be obligated to pay the remainder of your contract, just like when you have a phone contract. You have to pay a leaving fee if you want to leave your contract earlier. It's not rocket science. They poured salt in the wound by baselessly refusing to pay the remaining amount owed. Yeah. They would expect to be sued for that. Abel and Nathan's covert takedown and smear campaigns were revealed in black and white on Abel's company-issued phone following her termination, which Jones Works forensically preserved and examined in detail after receiving a subpoena for the phone's contents. There you go. She did everything legitimately, as you would if you employed someone and they tried to steal your information, your protected material, and your clients. The law is on your side. Jones discovered the breadth and intensity of Abel and Nathan's duplicity. They are, I was trying to think of the word and I was like, they're like Machiavellian with their duplicity. I don't know how they can trust each other or anyone can trust them that's around them because they're so fake. They are so fake. From these records, including that Abel was actively encouraging other Jones Works clients and employees to leave Jones Works while Abel was still employed there. Abel continues to this day to defame and point the finger at Jones, seeking to dodge the inevitable fallout from her own actions and behavior coming to light. I think she's referring to the other employees was a guy called Matthew. Something beginning with M. And she said in another message, I don't think it's in this document, but she said something like, he sold me out for 300 grand a year or something. Matthew Mitchell. She tried to poach Matthew Mitchell. What do I think about Jones' new suit against Heath for secretly recording her in Illinois? I'm here for it. Jamie Heath is an idiot. He's an absolute idiot. And he's thinking his ignorance can get him through this. Well, you're a CEO, mate. You're a CEO of a company that has $125 million invested in it. So you're bad. She's been dedicated to feminist causes. I don't really know too much about her, I'm not going to lie. But we are going to get on to The Rock in a minute. Speaking of feminist causes. Oh, Jamila, yes. Jamila Jamil was reposting Justin or shouting him out after the NYT article dropped. I think even recently she said something in support of Justin. And I'll be honest with you, Kayla, because I don't know if you're from the UK or the US, but obviously I'm from the UK. So I know Jamila Jamil. I know her from being in the UK. I know she has a podcast now, but I didn't know that until today, until I literally looked her up. But I actually met her ages ago as well. Like, I don't have anything against her, but it's just, I suddenly put two and two together the other day. Like, something came up about her on LinkedIn, which I was talking about last night, how unhinged it is. And I'm like, yeah, she's giving fake feminist to me. I feel like she's one of these kind of like, she's taken on being an activist as her career. That's her career move. I'm an activist. So she'll talk about what she thinks is relevant, what gives her relevance. I don't think she's genuine at all. There's not a genuine feminist on earth that would be supporting what Justin Baldoni is doing. I mean, I don't understand how they couldn't see through it from his own material before this even started. But even now, knowing that he's shouted at all the women, that he has not been able to apologize to anyone, he's a total fraud. So she should, if she wants to remain any credibility as a feminist, she needs to check herself. You're US based. She's more obscure here, but she was on a very popular show called The Good Place. Yeah, so I mean, I'm guessing she's, she needs to keep her profile up somehow. So that's why I think she says the controversial thing, because I just know whenever I hear her name, it's not in a good way. People are never praising her. It's always she's upset someone. Do you know what I mean? That's how I hear about her. Okay. Jones has tried in good faith to resolve this dispute out of court. That's another thing. She has tried in good faith to resolve this dispute out of court. But those efforts have been met with a complete lack of accountability and stonewalling. And defendants' finger-pointing and smear campaign against Jones still continues. Jones anticipates that she will be subject to even more retaliation and negative attacks from defendants for filing this lawsuit and revealing the truth. But she has been left with no choice but to seek to vindicate her rights through litigation and put a stop to defendants' harassing and damaging behavior against her. So, We have plaintiff Jonesworks LLC. Stephanie Jones is an individual who resides in Greenwich, Connecticut. Jennifer Abel, individual, resides in Beverly Hills. Melissa Nathan, individual who resides in Los Angeles. Offers crisis management and communications services. During a portion of the relevant period, Nathan lived in Brooklyn, and she launched the agency group PR LLC in approximately January 2024. Defendant Joseph Baldoni is an individual who resides in Ojai, California. I have looked up all these people's houses, by the way, because I'm nosy. But I'm not going to show their addresses. I'm not that kind of content creator. Defendant Wayfarer Studios LLC is a Delaware limited liability company with its principal place of business in Beverly Hills, California. It operates as an independent entertainment production studio and develops, produces, and finances feature films and social media content. It was co-founded by current co-chairman Justin Baldoni and is led by CEO Jamie Heath. John Doe's 1 to 10. John Doe's 1 to 10 are unknown individuals. Now, this is the bit I'm interested in. Who created and published the defamatory websites www.stephaniejonesleaks.com and www.stephaniejonesleaks.com, as well as more than a dozen fake social media accounts and dark web accounts that defamed Jones and Jonesworks. 1 to 10 people were behind this. I did see the website and I actually thought it was a bit of a joke. I'm like, what is the point of this? Like, really, what is the point of this? It didn't have anything really steamy on it at all. It was kind of embarrassing. The court has jurisdiction over this dispute and over the defendants under New York's civil practice law and rules. The court further has personal jurisdiction over each pursuant, blah, 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 blah. So they've done everything properly. And as I said, they have the law on their side. This court also has jurisdiction over defendants Abel Baldoni and Wayfarer Studios because each is a party to a contract with Jonesworks that requires will be resolved in New York, subject to New York law. They signed these contracts. And those contracts were binding. And she can afford Quinn Emanuel to go after them. So this is kind of repeating what we already knew, but Jennifer Abel in July 2020 was hired by Jonesworks to work as a publicist with the title Vice President. And on the 9th of July 2020, they executed 2 contracts, an offer letter establishing Abel's compensation and a non-disclosure and intellectual property rights and non-solicitation agreement. Standard, literally standard. The Abel NDA contains several provisions relevant to this complaint. Abel agreed to keep confidential any and all of Jonesworks' proprietary information, including strategies, plans, and financial information, as well as information relating to Jonesworks clients. Abel agreed that any work product she created was the property of Jonesworks. There it is. Any work product she created was the property of Jonesworks. She also agreed that she would not prepare or assist in the preparation of any articles about Jonesworks without Jonesworks' express permission, would not disparage Jonesworks in any communications with any reporter or any JonesWorks client, and would not attempt to persuade any JonesWorks client to stop doing business with JonesWorks. On November 22nd, 2021, JonesWorks and Abels executed an employment agreement adjusting the terms of her employment. Under the employment agreement, JonesWorks granted Abel the title Vice President Talent and provided her with compensation tied to the company's performance, including a bonus based on distributions made by the company and a payment equal to 1% of any net proceeds in the event of the sale of JonesWorks. So she actually got a promotion. Under the employment agreement, Abel agreed again that she would not use any JonesWorks proprietary information for any purpose other than benefiting that the products of her work were the sole property of JonesWorks, that she would not directly or indirectly compete with JonesWorks for business during her employment or for a period of 6 months after her departure, that she would not solicit any business from JonesWorks clients, that she would not solicit any JonesWorks employees to depart the company, and that she would only notify clients of her departure from JonesWorks with Jones' approval. Abel also expressly agreed that she owed JonesWorks a fiduciary duty of loyalty, fidelity, and allegiance to act at all times in the best interests of the company, and to do no act which might injure the business interests or reputation of the company. So she's actually been offered some equity of the company to give her more of an incentive not to defame her own company. But obviously that wasn't enough for her. And I'm thinking about it now, I'm like, I wonder if she said to Jamila Jamil, I'll do you a deal for less than you're paying Stephanie Jones. Which is a really shitty way, I couldn't think of another word, to do business. Undercutting people in business is such a bad thing for everyone. It leads to unsustainability. Trust. You should always work in collaboration with your contemporaries. Otherwise, you just devalue everyone's. You devalue everyone's value. Wayfarer and Justin Baldoni. JonesWorks began providing public relations services to Baldoni in approximately 2017. When Baldoni founded Wayfarer in 2019, JonesWorks also began representing that company. So he had individual public relations, and then they were doing public relations for his actual brand. In May 2020, JonesWorks executed a contract to memorialize the terms of its provision of public relations services to Wayfarer. The Wayfarer agreement provided that JonesWorks would provide strategic communication services in a professional manner. In exchange for these services, this is an interesting bit, Wayfarer agreed to pay JonesWorks $20,000 a month, plus expenses, a 20% commission for any speaking engagements JonesWorks procured, and a 10% commission for any third-party agreements JonesWorks facilitated. The Wayfarer agreement provided that if Wayfarer requested additional services, the parties would negotiate an additional fee for those services, like Crisis PR. Wayfarer agreed not to solicit any JonesWorks employees or attempt to induce any Jones Works employees to terminate her employment during the term of the Wayfarer Agreement for 1 year thereafter. So they're all in breach of these contracts, all of them. They have no respect. These people that have been preaching about changing lives and doing good for humankind have all breached every single contract they had with this company, who've looked after them for 5 years at this point. The Wayfarer Agreement provided that either party could terminate it only if the other party materially breached its terms and failed to cure those material breaches within 10 days of receiving notice. Well, we know that definitely didn't happen. The Wayfarer Agreement is governed by New York law. Any disputes under the Wayfarer Agreement were to be resolved through binding arbitration in New York, New York. Wayfarer, through counsel, subsequently repudiated. I'm assuming that means refused to comply with this arbitration provision. The contract had a 1-year term that automatically renewed for additional 1-year periods, unless either party gave notice 90 days before such a renewal. Neither Jones Works nor Wayfarer ever gave notice under this provision. The contract most recently renewed for a 1-year period on May 7th, 2024, and it will expire on May 6th, 2025. So if they left in August, that's September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. That's another 9 months times 20 grand they should have paid her. Do the math. In June 2020, a month after executing the Wayfarer Agreement and upon Wayfarer and Baldoni's specific requests, the parties, including Baldoni, agreed to incorporate public relations services for Baldoni personally into that contract in exchange for an additional payment of $5 grand per month. Oh, so it was a lot more than that then. It was 9 times 25. Since that time, at Wayfarer and Baldoni's request, Jones Works has issued a single invoice each month for $25,000 to both Wayfarer and Baldoni. Until the dispute described in this complaint, Wayfarer and Baldoni paid those invoices each month. Shortly after commencing employment at Jones Works, Abel began working with Baldoni and Wayfarer. As time passed, Jones grew confident in Abel's abilities, and Abel ultimately was entrusted as the primary Jones Works point of contact for Baldoni and Wayfarer. Wow. I'd like to see when she's doing a bad job. Abel also worked closely with Jamie Heath, who previously served as Vice President of Impact and Culture. I don't think he even said that about himself in his own deposition. I don't remember him saying he was the Vice President of Impact and Culture. And Co-Chief Operating Officer of Wayfarer. Co-Chief Operating, yeah, he did say that. COO. And currently serves as Wayfarer's President and Chief Executive Officer. Well, we know that. The Chief Executive Officer that doesn't have a clue how his company runs or what it spends money on. In this capacity, Heath played a hands-on role in overseeing Wayfarer's projects and communication strategies. Baldoni, Wayfarer, Heath, and others accepted Jones Works' consistent performance of its contractual services. Melissa Nathan. I'm just going to carry on reading. I was just see if anyone else had commented. Melissa Nathan is a longtime crisis manager who has previously worked at several public relations firms. In 2022, Nathan and Jones Works engaged in negotiations regarding Nathan potentially joining Jones Works. Now, this was a bombshell to me. This was a real bombshell to me. The negotiations progressed significantly, including Jones Works agreeing to hire and actually hiring 2 of Nathan's colleagues upon Nathan's insistence. Ultimately, however, negotiations with Nathan failed, and she was not retained by Jones Works. Interesting. You hate this woman, but yet you wanted to go and work for her in 2022, and she rejected you. Very interesting, that is. In 2023, Jones witnessed Nathan's approach to handling clients' crisis when they worked for a mutual client. Nathan's tactics went far over the line. Jones recommended that the client terminate its relationship with Nathan, which was separate and independent from Jones and Jones Works. Jones herself further resolved that she would not collaborate with Nathan for clients in the future. Nathan has seemed to harbour significant animus toward Jones and Jones Works ever since. Yeah. So, I was wondering about the mutual client. Let me just read that again. In 2023, Jones witnessed Nathan's approach to handling clients' crises when they worked for a mutual client. Nathan's tactics went far over the line. Jones recommended that the client terminate its relationship with Nathan, which was separate and independent from Jones and Jones Works. So, one name that's come up is The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. And so I looked up Dwayne Johnson 2023 crisis. I'm not saying this is what they're talking about, but it said Dwayne Johnson faced a public relations crisis over the controversial launch of his and Oprah Winfrey's Maui Wildfire Relief Fund, which drew significant public backlash. He also experienced professional difficulties related to his film projects and spoke openly about his past mental health struggles. I'm like, okay, here we go again. So I knew that there was this thing going on with Vin Diesel, who's represented by Brian Friedman. So I'm like, yeah, that's interesting. And also he had some online or some beef with Ryan Reynolds, apparently. I don't know if it was him they were talking about, but I didn't know anything about this. I mean, not that I would anyway, but I did hear about this I did hear about these Maui fires, and I kept hearing about Winfrey. And I'm like, that'd be interesting, because Oprah Winfrey was getting all ish for this Maui fire thing. I kept seeing things about her being involved with even causing them at one point. And Oprah Winfrey is like hated by a lot of the same people that we see hating on Blake Lively. So, yeah, I was like, wow. And then I saw that he had opened up about his mental health struggles. And I'm like, yeah. Wait, this was what I was thinking was like, okay, this sounds familiar. The Rock struggles with lifelong depression. As men, we didn't talk about it. And I'm like, oh. And so, yeah. I don't think this was I think the fires were like later on in the year, but anyway, I just thought, okay. So apparently, what does this say? Dwayne Johnson and Oprah Winfrey's Maui controversy. So this was in October 9th. Winfrey and Johnson faced backlash after launching a fund in August to help survivors of the Maui wildfires. Anyway, I think people were calling them out and saying, listen, you guys are millionaires and you're fundraising for this where you should be just donating. But many people took to social media to criticize Winfrey and Johnson's joint appeal for donations, with one person on TikTok calling their video tone deaf. Some commenters questioned why Johnson and Winfrey, as wealthy celebrities, were asking others to give instead of donating more themselves. Anyway, I just remember there being a lot of negative stuff about Oprah Winfrey. And maybe not so much about The Rock. But then there was another message I wanted to show as well, which is from Nathan to Scooter Braun. So Scooter Braun is one of Stephanie Jones's clients. But, plot twist, Scooter Braun's company, Hype, which he was bought out by and was the CEO of, had a 50% investment in Tag, and Melissa was doing PR for him in August 2024 for this ADL Nova show that he was putting on in support of the Anti-Defamation League, which, in case you don't know, is a pro-Israel organization. So it's, I don't know, it's interesting that he had two opposing PR people working for him at the same time on different projects. So yeah, on the 6th of August, she'd received a text from Scott or Scooter Braun. It's really hard to read, but it says, there is a separate thread for anything brigade related that we have with Jones Works. For reasons that you are aware that have nothing to do with me. So we were like, brigade related. What does he mean by brigade related? Is it in reference to Justin Bieber? Is it in reference to brigading comments? Is it in reference to something called the Brigade that Matthew Hiltzik runs, which is another pro-Israel organization that seems to have something to do with the Oscars and calls out any celebrity or public figure that says anything in support of the genocide happening in Palestine. The message goes on. Jen is the only. Jen is only Jen is here only a few more weeks, which is a real shame, especially for me, as she is the one that does the actual work, and it's really great. You and I need to discuss where you see this realistically going. And so she had sent that message to Katie Case, and Katie Case had responded, good for you. Oops, didn't mean to do that. I mean, they're very cryptic, some of these messages. It's like, we all know what they're talking about, but we don't know what they're talking about. Melissa said, he cannot expect us to work with Stephanie. I won't do it. And Katie responds, it's just not possible. Oh my gosh, wait. What if you use the business insider thing as a reason not to do it? This really showcases how little she can be trusted. I don't want her interacting with my team. We're working too hard, and I'm worried about details being leaked internationally if there's a difference of opinion. I don't know whether she meant internationally or intentionally. It's so important to protect reputations, or is that too much? I mean, isn't that your job? Isn't your job to protect your clients' reputations? She then says, working with Jen and Matthew is fine, but she can't be trusted. And Melissa said, I have said that 500 times. And then Katie said, this is all within this period of 1 minute. True, this article needs to run. He needs to see it. Also, hi, how are you? Melissa says, it's 6:30. I am already trying to kill one rebel story and dealing with Mattel loss for Brian. So basically, Rebel wants one of those sites. So that was when we first started hearing that they could be involved with other websites. But yeah, I just thought it was really interesting that Scooter Braun definitely seems to be very involved in her business. it sounds like this conversation is around the subject of Jen Abel leaving Jonesworks and them having a conversation about realistically where this is going. So yeah, I was thinking as well of Justin Bieber as a client. I don't think he's been with Jonesworks, and neither has, but he has been with Matthew Hiltzig, Melissa's former boss. And then Hailey Bieber was mentioned, but I looked up whether, because I had heard somewhere that Scooter Braun was invested in Hailey Bieber's beauty brand, which I mean, it's not, I don't think she outright owns the brand. I think she's like a paid ambassador, like she's the face of the brand, Road Beauty. But that doesn't seem to be correct from what I could find. So, yeah. Anyway, that's that on that. That was my little extra research there. But the resentment very much seems to be coming from Melissa's side. I mean, she's quite open about it. And so so are the other people that work there. No trust, obviously no trust between them. In January 2024, Nathan launched her own firm, the Agency Group PR. The Agency Group provides crisis management services to celebrities and other high-profile individuals and companies. Abel and Nathan schemed to use Baldoni's crisis to attack Jones's reputation and steal Jonesworks' business. In 2019, Baldoni and Wayfarer acquired the film rights to the best-selling novel It Ends With Us, written by Colleen Hoover, an author whose books enjoy a vast and devoted following, especially among young women. In 2023, Baldoni began production on the film, blah, 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 blah. Baldoni named himself as the director and male lead of the film, an abusive partner to the female main character played by Lively. Later reports emerged that during production, women on set, including Lively, but not exclusive to, oh, I just realized I'm not showing you the document anymore. My bad. Later reports, made complaints about Baldoni's behaviour toward them, including comments of a sexual nature and inappropriate touching. So we've just seen a message where Janet Abel is talking about it in January of 24. Obviously, this was known. This was known by other people. It was being talked about behind his back. Other women that had nothing to do with the production, they were working for him in a different capacity, were saying, were expressing that Blake Lively should have sent him a cease and desist for his cringy behaviour. Jones later learned that the tensions on set had reached such a point that after the Screen Actors Guild strike halted production from July to early November, Lively had only agreed to return to production if Wayfarer implemented additional measures to prevent further improper behaviour on set by Baldoni. When it's put like that, it sounds so simple and straightforward. The film was released in August 2024. In connection with the release, the press began reporting on tensions between Baldoni and the female cast and crew on set. According to reports, Baldoni had acted in a controlling, demeaning, and borderline abusive manner towards the cast and crew, especially toward women. Well, there certainly seems to be a lot of evidence stacking up to that. The press specifically identified Lively and Hoover as having clashed with Baldoni during filming and speculated on the unusual circumstance that neither Lively nor Hoover was photographed promoting the film together with Baldoni as evidence of tension. There's a footnote. 1. What is it? C. Article by Melissa Nathan's sister. Sarah Nathan, truth behind it ends with us, feud rumors, but Justin Baldoni made Blake Lively uncomfortable. Sources say. New York Post, August 9th, 2024. James Batushka and Lillian Gisson, disturbing truth behind why Blake Lively and her It Ends With Us stars are feuding with Justin Baldoni. Daily Mail, August 9th, 2024. I'm not going to click on that because I can't see the mail online. It's behind a paywall. Or a subscription. As the August 2024 release neared, Baldoni began to fear that the increased attention being paid to him and the film would cause reports of allegations about his on-set misbehavior to come out. Nathan, with encouragement from Heath and without Jones's knowledge or approval, she literally warned them against it, began to formulate a no-holds-barred strategy to discredit and suppress any potential revelations about Baldoni's on-set behavior. The thing is, we now know that he's already been through previous civil lawsuits by his staff, and no one knew about it. So whatever she was doing, she was obviously navigating his image very well. Jones, having entrusted the management of the Baldoni and Wayfarer relationship to Abel, trusted that any plan Abel formulated on behalf of Jones Works would appropriately reflect the company's integrity and ethos. Unfortunately, the opposite turned out to be true. Behind Jones's back, Abel went around Jones to arrange for Baldoni and Wayfarer to retain Nathan and launch a smear campaign against Lively. On information and belief, Nathan took advantage of this opportunity to encourage Abel to leave Jones Works, to conspire with Abel to steal Baldoni and Wayfarer as clients from Jones Works, and to smear Jones and Jones Works in the press. On information and belief, Nathan did so because she believed, among other things, that Abel would encourage Nathan's own burgeoning relationship with these and other Jones Works clients, while Jones would not. This scheme ultimately inflicted serious damage on Jones and Jones Works. Abel and Nathan devised a smear campaign against Lively to benefit Baldoni and Wayfarer. Nathan and Abel's strategy for Baldoni was set forth in part in a 4-page memorandum sent to Baldoni but kept secret from Jones, that outlines several potential scenarios at play here, which we should be prepared for should BL and her team make her grievances public. Objective: protect the reputation of Justin Baldoni, Jamie Heath, and Wayfarer Studios in the lead up during. Why would anyone care about Jamie Heath? Oh, I suppose because he was on that podcast. In the lead up, during, and following the premiere of It Ends With Us, underscore the achievement and efforts of the Wayfarer team in bringing this movie to life, and emphasize Justin and the studio's commitment to their team and making the broader industry a more inclusive space. Well, overview. There are several potential scenarios at play here which we should be prepared for should BL and her team make her grievances public via a blatant story or subtle leak. Given she was made to compromise with the Premier, we feel she will move forward with doing so. She was made to compromise with the Premier. Wow. Okay. I thought she took it over. The memo, which along with the overall strategy was kept secret from Jones, explicitly recommended weaponizing Baldoni's perceived history as a long-time activist and advocate of and for women in Hollywood to be used against Lively, and at the same time sought to discredit Lively's negative on-set experiences. The thing is, though, it wasn't just her. With Baldoni by painting her in the press as the one who had weaponized feminism for her own benefit. And it's funny as well, because wasn't I just saying that's what Jamila Jamil appears to be doing, or appears to have done? Projection is real. JB has been a long-time activist and advocate of and women in Hollywood, speaking out about challenges his colleagues faced before the Me Too movement even began. JB has been a long-time activist and advocate of and for women in Hollywood, speaking out about challenges his colleagues faced before the Me Too movement even began. That was in his TED Talk 2017. That's what I've been saying. It goes back to this TED Talk. It was a fabricated image, artificial. It was an artificial image. He was playing a part at that TED Talk. These pieces will likely come out following any potential hit piece and or coverage from the premiere. Our recommended approach would be to provide reporters who reach out for comment should it be obvious she's referring to you with the appropriate background information listed in scenario 1 to ensure their stories are balanced and the speculation can be turned to another one of the many people she's had issues with working with. Leighton Meester, Anna Kendrick, Ben Affleck. I imagine most people have had issues working with Ben Affleck, given he apparently has a serious drinking problem. But I was going to say, like, this explains why they kept saying in the messages, like, there's no press. Where's his press? Where's all this press stuff we've been expecting to mitigate? There's nothing negative coming out about him. Because it was all in his head, is how I'm reading it. And we also know stories about his behavior and the feud and everything, that Melissa was texting her friends like de moi, and telling them I've got the scoop. We know that she had a conversation with her sister because she said something along the lines of, I told you that in confidence. She had texted Jen Abel as early as the 4th of August, something about, I've already spoken to the editor of Daily Mail. She's ready to go. Or something like that. I've spoken to her off the record, she said. So all these people were expecting something to come out. When I say all these people, I mean the people in the press and on social media accounts. This was a setup. honestly. Yet this aggressive strategy was apparently still not tough enough for Baldoni, who texted Abel and Heath that he was not in love with the document Nathan sent. Not sure I'm feeling the protection I felt on the call. Abel relayed Baldoni's concerns to Nathan, telling Nathan that Baldoni indeed needed a stronger showing of strength, explaining, "You can, of course, do that, but I do think he needs to know. I'm going to confidentially send you something. He's texting me and Jamie on the side, just to arm you before this call. I think you guys need to be tough and show the strength of what you guys can do in these scenarios. He wants to feel like she can be buried." So bear in mind, they know already what she can do because Stephanie Jones has already sent them a link saying, "This is what she does. Stay away." Nathan immediately responded, "Of course, but when we send over documents, we can't send over the work we will or could do, because that could get us in a lot of trouble. We can't write it down to him. We can't write, 'We will destroy her. We will go this. We will do this. We will do this. We will do this.'" Jennifer says, "Of course not. But I told him that's the point of talking through." Melissa says he has to look at it as an information document for us to be armed with. Every sentence is about, it's like combative. That's all. Imagine if a document saying all the things that he wants ends up in the wrong hands. I know, imagine. Can you imagine, Melissa? We can bury anyone, but I can't write that to him. I will. I'll be very tough. Yeah, that was where they got the name of the article. "We can bury anyone," inside a Hollywood smear campaign that wasn't, because it was all organic. In the days that followed, Baldoni and Heath made clear to Abel that they expected Abel and Nathan's strategy to include a social media activation plan, and Abel and Nathan immediately complied in its implementation. For example, on August 5th, Baldoni sent Abel a screenshot of an attack campaign against Hailey Bieber, painting her as having a history of bullying many women, and told Abel this is what we would need against Lively. Well, I've already showed that screenshot in quite a few other videos, and it's in one of the thumbnails. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm not going to bring it up right now, but it shows to me that Justin knew exactly what he wanted, what he was doing and what he wanted. On information and belief, oh, I missed a bit. Nathan and Abel's behind-the-scenes efforts for Baldoni and Heath also included frantically working to squash emerging media reports about certain human resources complaints that had been filed against Baldoni in connection with the bill. On information and belief, Nathan and Abel also used their industry connections to plant negative articles about Lively in press outlets, including the Daily Mail and the New York Post's Page 6. And Leverage, both of which her sister works for, Sarah Nathan, a Meghan Markle hater. I was thinking about Meghan Markle as well. I was like, is Meghan Markle involved in this? I really do not follow celebrity gossip, honestly. I just see things coming up in the timeline. That's how I kind of am aware that there are things going on, but I don't normally click on them. And leverage their teams to create and perpetuate negative content about Lively on social media platforms such as Reddit and TikTok. I know there's been a lot going on Reddit. See Alana Kosler and Joe Tweedy. Is Blake Lively set to be cancelled? String of hard-to-watch videos that have surfaced following tone-deaf Q&A to promote It Ends With Us could tarnish 36-year-old star's golden Hollywood image. Golden Hollywood image. See that? For good. Daily Mail, August 16th. Sarah Nathan. Blake Lively approved final cut of It Ends With Us amid feud with co-star director Justin Baldoni, page 6. If anyone enjoys reading Sarah Nathan's articles, shame on you. Shame on you. Nathan and Abel enthusiastically. Oh, I think I missed a bit. For example, Abel closely coordinated with page 6 reporter Sarah Nathan, Melissa Nathan's sister, to publish an article hostile toward Lively's role in the production of the film. So I'm guessing Melissa Nathan kind of set the, what do they say? Set the things up all in a row. I can't remember, like the Skittles. I can't remember the expression. She set everything up by having a quiet word in her sister's ear. And then let Jennifer Abel give her the dish the dirt. Because I remember something about Jennifer Abel was messaging saying, your sister's calling me, or something like that. Nathan and Abel enthusiastically supported the strategy that Baldoni and Heath wanted and deliberately hid it from Jones in order to ingratiate themselves with Baldoni and Heath, drive a wedge between Baldoni and Jones, and ultimately to steal Baldoni and Wayfarer from Jonesworks as clients. For her part, Jones, who was kept in the dark about this coordinated strategy and was not aware that Wayfarer had actively approved and participated in it, objected to Wayfarer's hiring of Nathan and advocated a positive press strategy instead. Wayfarer's president immediately reported Jones' comments to Abel. Here we are. Text from Stephanie about the HR article and us hiring Melissa for Crisis. This is from Tara Hanks, who's the president at Wayfarer, to Jennifer. This wasn't planted by Leslie. This is playbook by Melissa. It is. It literally is. It literally is her playbook. And also, that article about them hiring the Crisis PR got more engagement than anything else, any other online content that they did about this story. It's in the sentiment report that Jed's non-team did. This wasn't planted by Leslie. This is playbook by Melissa. There was no NY Post story she kept at bay. Melissa's sister works at page 6. We need to flood Zones with positive press and push back on claims. There's no counter to claims in story. His complimentary sound bites of Blake need to be covered on high SEO sites. Excluding Jones from the conversation, Heath flatly rejected any pivot to a positive strategy in a text to Abel, suggesting that Jones should be shut out for undermining their strategy. He's so dumb. He's so dumb. Honestly. He called Jones' influence on the situation poison. I don't like the idea that there is continued cannibalization. Oh my God. From within the same side. Cannibalization. They're so extreme with their language. Meaning Jones works, i.e., Stephanie and the crisis team. I only want us to be communicating with people who are working together and not with ones who are undermining others within our team. Stephanie is casting doubt, and that can have an effect like poison. I'm going to bed, a first for me and forever. Let's chat more tomorrow about this. I mean, it's 4:15 in the morning. Abel and Nathan drive a wedge between Jones and Baldoni and attack Jones's reputation in the press. At the same time as pandering Baldoni and Heath's desire to discredit Lively, Abel and Nathan were also furthering their own profit-driven agenda to attack and disparage Jones, using many of the same tactics they were using against Lively in order to eliminate Jones as a competitor and siphon away her clients for themselves. Ironically, Abel and Nathan recognized that their success on both fronts reflected a societal desire to tear down successful women like Lively and Jones, but they remained undeterred in their agenda. Let me see what the comments are saying. Sorry, I'm trying to keep up. Do I think his TED Talk was like preemptive cover or just another trauma appropriation? You know what? You got to watch my video that's coming out tomorrow because we're going to get into it. But when I heard that Jeffrey Epstein was going to the original TED conferences in 2000, it just made sense to me of all of it. It has 100% to do with AI investments and tech investments. Justin has a way, and using like people's social media histories against them. That's how I think. That was part of the plan. Justin has a way of exploiting other people's traumas, like he feeds off grief to come across as a savior. Exactly. It's all about the delivery. The way he delivered his message, it sounded very convincing. But it's only now that we can look back and see that he wasn't trying to help disabled people. He wasn't trying to help homeless people. It was very surface level what he was doing. In fact, the disabled people, they literally said he did all these GoFundMes, but no one received anything. You know, and if you look at how many influencers, this is the same thing that The Rock is apparently being accused of in 2023 with the Maui fires. I was listening to a YouTube video on various types of narcissists, not sure if it's pseudoscience, but he is definitely like a straight malignant narcissist. I mean, I just feel like this word narcissism, I feel like, yeah, I think if anything, the very concept of having an influencer and using your platform for good is the reason why so many people have become narcissistic. It allows you to believe that you'll find an audience for your worst traits In fact, the worse the better. The worse the better. The more you create drama, the more you portray yourself as the victim, the more followers you will acquire, the more you have conflict as well. Call her by her name. Is that the name of the what you're talking about, concerned citizen? The lawyer from Erin Brockovich, Tom Girardi. He's going to be in our video. It's going to be at least 2 parts, 2 maybe 3 parts, but we've made it into a series. But we're going to be covering all this stuff, and that's the funny thing about Tom Girardi is he was actually running a pyramid scheme. He was defrauding all his clients of their settlement money, and that still wasn't enough for him to sustain his lifestyle. That he was then in debt, and he was paying off so many people to keep his operation from being found out, like judges, like politicians, like the police, that he couldn't get enough settlement money in. And that's why it all came crashing down in the end. I find it fascinating, that Tom Girardi thing, honestly. Let me not get too distracted. We're on page 25. How long have I been on? I've been nearly 2 hours. Okay. I'll keep going for a little bit longer. I think my lives are such good value. I really don't know why more people don't watch them. Okay. So we already saw that about it being sad. It's sad that you've managed to capitalize on the fact that people want to hate women online. Abel's trashing of women even extended to Nathan herself, whom she had previously badmouthed just months before, cynically hitching her star to Nathan to steal from Jones. MN kind of talks out of both sides of her mouth, she said on either the 5th of April or the 4th of May 2024. You think? She's a piece of ish. So I guess it was April. I honestly used to like her, and now I see her for how she really is. I'll tell you what, though, she's very good at reeling people in and telling them what they want to hear. She's very good at that. I'll give her that. Working together, Nathan and Abel's stated goal in all of this was to position themselves to be able to steal Wayfarer, Baldoni and other clients from Jones Works to the new firm Abel was planning to form, so that those clients could then be serviced jointly by both Abel's and Nathan's new firms instead of Jones Works. I know, and once you are gone, we will be on accounts together and make really good money and be happy. I wonder if they are happy. Abel and Nathan explicitly discussed their plan to steal Wayfarer and Baldoni away from Jones Works. You know what I was just saying as well about that influencer being the victim thing? That is very much how I see Melissa Nathan acting. She's always, in all the messages, she's always talking about how ill she is. Everything's so dramatic. So, oh my God, kill me now. Oh, there's a storm. I'm in a hurricane. I've been throwing up all weekend. I've been in the ER. Everything is a drama with her. And she shares. She's an oversharer of everything she's going through when you don't need to do that. It has the desired effect of making people feel bad for you, in my opinion. As Nathan made plain really good money. Oh, As Nathan made plain, really good money was the motivating force behind this scheme, not any special affection for Baldoni or Wayfarer. Indeed, Abel's candid communication outside of Baldoni and Heath's view made clear that at the same time as she was working to salvage Baldoni's reputation and steal his business, she actually held Baldoni personally in extremely low regard. For example, when a colleague described an article about a kissing scene between Baldoni and Lively as so gross, Abel responded, "It's so cringy." Yeah, we just saw that. But the point is, Melissa Nathan, who Justin Baldoni has known for a day, like literally a matter of days, was able to persuade Justin that that Jennifer loved him and that she was so loyal to him. It's so funny because he obviously wanted to believe that. He had so little um, self-awareness. Same with Jamie Heath. They honestly fell for it. They literally walked in with their eyes wide open. Months later, Abel was even more explicit in saying for Baldoni, yes, we already saw that he was planning to go on a men's retreat during the release of the movie. I mean, honestly, I can't stand him. He's so pompous. And being off the grid for the summer because he's just so overworked. Like, calm down. You're not that important. Nobody gives a ish about how hard your life is. And what covers he's doing. At this point, none, because he's not a star. Well, I definitely agree with her there. Jones Works is getting Jamil on Vogue. He doesn't need a retreat. He needs to be humbled. When this movie flops, he's going to try to blame every person around him for it. To further their plan, Abel and Nathan contrive to plant stories in media outlets, including the Daily Mail and Business Insider, to trash Jones and Jones Works' reputations publicly and to their clients. They also back-channeled with Wayfarer and Baldoni to paint Jones in a negative light. For example, following the premiere of the film, Daily Mail published an article reporting on tensions between Baldoni and Lively. Tell me, I was just going to say, don't tell me it's another Daily Mail article by Lillian Gisson. That article relied exclusively on social media posts that had been identified for Abel earlier that same day. Either a shocking coincidence or confirmation that Abel had planted the story. On information and belief, Abel and Nathan conspired to plant this story in the Daily Mail in pursuit of dual objectives. First, the negative story cemented Baldoni's need for Nathan's crisis management services. That part. The negative story cemented Baldoni's need for Nathan's crisis management services. She's been working for Matthew Hiltzig for a decade, ensuring herself an ongoing paycheck. Second, they arranged for Baldoni and Wayfarer to believe that Jones was the cited insider and also created a false story that Jones had publicly blamed Lively for the article, thus sowing discord between Baldoni and Wayfarer on the one hand and Jones on the other. The scheme worked. When the article was published, at first, key players in the film's release, including Josh Greenstein, the president of Sony Pictures Motion Picture Group, believed correctly that Abel was the person responsible for the story. Hi, Jen. Been informed you have been speaking to sites about bad blood between Blake and Justin. He was good on Today's Show. If a negative story breaks, it would hurt the movie. Josh Greenstein. So tell me how Josh Greenstein, the president of Sony Pictures, I mean, that sounds pretty high up. That's a lot more high up the chain than Jennifer Abel is in this business. And he's heard, because he's taking an interest in this movie, even though, what's his name? Jamie Heath tried to use his really bad analogy that flopped by saying, well, there's a Sony, they don't know what's going on all of their films. He did know what was going on with that film, and he sent a direct text to put a stop to it because he made inquiries. Abel denied being the source and instead falsely told Sony's communications team that Jones was the leak. False allegations stuck. Rumours that Jones was behind the article began to make their way back to Wayfarer, the dummies, causing Heath to respond with hostility. I mean, it doesn't take a lot for him to respond with his hostility and fairness. Jamie Heath got on his high horse and he told Steph Jones, as a sort of tame you, Steve Sarowitz. He unleashed his Steve Sarowitz on Steph Jones and said, I am hearing from Sony that, quote, someone named Stephanie Jones has responded out to Daily Mail saying that Blake is to blame, and now this has escalated it all. We were purposely not responding to anything as to not fuel. This has fueled it. Everyone stand down unless I am aware of any moves. I don't care who is supposed to do what. I'm most interested in that. I'm interested only in any strategy being run by me. I need all to understand that. To clarify again, replied Steph, I have not spoken to Daily Mail. The above isn't true. I also don't believe Danny or Kim at Sony are saying that above. Quote also has spaces as if it was just being drafted. I think this was about some kind of mix-up to do with another client. She sent another message saying, I am not contacting press, but is concerning if Danny or Kim are saying I have escalated this as I haven't even touched this. I'm going to contact them. Jamie replies, Stephanie, as your client and the one pays for the service, I am stating to not contact anyone regarding Wayfarer or Sony at this time. If you do after this text, it will be a major problem. This needs to be respected now. See what I mean? Heath went a step further and threatened Jones directly that he would issue a public press release stating that Baldoni and Wayfarer had terminated Jones' works if she took any steps to contact Sony or others to clear her name, menacingly reminding her that she didn't need that kind of negative publicity for herself or her business. On August 9, 2024, the Daily Mail published another article, this time reporting on Baldoni's abusive on-set behaviour, citing insiders as the source for the article. I'm not even going to read it. Oh, it's James Fatushka. James Fatushka's now lost his job at the Mail because of this. On information and belief, Abel and Nathan conspired to plant this story in further pursuit of their goal to cement Baldoni and Wayfarer's needs for Nathan's services and turn them against Jones. Heath and Abel bragged about the success of this strategy, jokingly referring to the leak as being the best decision of a press trip that Abel and Nathan were accompanying Heath and Wayfarer on, and which Jones did not attend. He's such an arsehole. He's dumb and an arsehole. This woman has been doing a good job for them for 5 whole years. And just because these two knew how to butter them up, they fell for it. In parallel with their efforts in the Daily Mail, on Information and Belief, Abel and Nathan contrived to have Business Insider publish a hostile article about Jones, which was intended to encourage Wayfarer and Baldoni and other JonesWorks clients to want to end their relationship with JonesWorks and to weaken JonesWorks' business. Indeed, as early July 29, 2024, Abel and Nathan were coordinating their outreach to Katie Warren, the Business Insider reporter who eventually published the article attacking Jones. But we've been over that. Quite repetitive, this lawsuit, but I guess this is how a really good lawyer lays it out. I can't even imagine how much these people charge. It's got to be in the region of $1,000 an hour. This client, with whom Jones had worked closely for years, bringing her from obscurity to prominence. I think it's got to be Jamila Jamil. I'm just saying. Okay. In addition, on August 9th, 2024, Abel suggested and asked for Heath's approval to try to get Business Insider to remove reference to a letter of support for Jones that Baldoni had previously written and to falsely tell Warren that Baldoni and Wayfarer had terminated their relationship with JonesWorks when they had not. Well, we just saw at the beginning they needed to give at least 90 days notice. At least one party. And then they would have to go through some kind of mediation before that even happened to see whether they could resolve it. They had, I think it was like a 3-week period where they could try and save the relationship. Meanwhile, he's out there making announcements. From Jennifer Abel to Jamie Heath on the, I'm going to say 9th of August. Yeah. Just thought about something. Should I try to get Justin's letter removed from Business Insider? I would need to tell her on background that both Justin and Wayfarer have severed ties. So not sure if your lawyers would recommend that. She would need to print that and not sure if that would cause any issues. She's not sure about much. On August 12, 2024, just 3 days before the article was published, Business Insider's Warren asked Abel to call her back. Katie Warren, hi, would you mind giving me a call back when you have a minute? Just have a quick question. Abel called Warren 11 minutes later. The day before the article was published, Nathan texted Abel boasting about the destructive effect it would have on Jones and mockingly suggested that Abel should tell Jones. Yep, we've read that. Immediately before the article was published, Nathan texted Abel that she just got a text from my source to say the article is going live imminently. I wonder if her source was Katie Warren. When Abel asked which article Nathan was referencing, Nathan responded, I just shook my head at your response. The only article. Abel responded, oh, that article. Warren then texted Abel the minute the article was published to alert her that it had gone live. Story is up. Thanks again for your help. And there it is. We've already read it. Immediately after the article was published, Abel texted Nathan a link to it. Abel also sent the article directly to numerous industry contacts, including many of Jones's clients and employees, and several of Abel's industry friends and other industry publicists. Well, what a great life you must have. Honestly, The article, published by Business Insider on August 15th, 2024, was highly critical of Jones, including by referencing and amplifying the anonymous, disparaging website StephanieJonesLeaks.com, which had been recently posted online by the John Doe defendants, and accusing Jones of having a reputation for aggression and having recently been dropped by high-profile clients. I mean, I didn't think it was that bad. What do I know? Given that Wayfair and Baldoni were longtime clients of Jones' works, the clear and false implication of the article was that Jones was responsible for the aggressive media tactics that were being employed by Baldoni against Lively. I mean, I get what they were trying to do there, but really it hasn't aged very well at all. It really has not. Because they simply do not have the evidence to show that their narrative was truthful or real. All the evidence points to the opposite of what they were saying. And especially the fact that we now know that Wayfarer did have a troubled history behind the scenes. That makes it look even worse for them and even better for Stephanie Jones. Unsurprisingly, the negative article about Jones shared a strikingly similar tone with the negative coverage against Lively appearing in the press at the same time, in the same vein as the gendered Mean Girl coverage about Lively that followed the weaponizing feminism script. Set out in the strategy memo, the Jones article was premised on the same principles, manifesting an equally sexist critique of Jones, who was cast as a tyrannical boss who could quickly turn combative. We didn't get that impression, though, from her messages at all. Even when she was told, "We're working with your arch enemy, Melissa Nathan," her response was 100% profesh. She was like, "Okay, great. Do you want to set up a call and then I can fill her in on everything?" Not that she needed filling in, because Jennifer Abel had already been leaking everything she needed to know. We don't see any messages of her being combative. And I mean, as for her being a toxic person, look at the clients she had to look after. My God. Jeff Bezos and The Rock. I think The Rock might have some kind of issues going on with steroid use. I don't know. I don't really know too much about it, but just what I saw today, I'm like, the guy has got a lot of behavioral stuff going on. This article had serious negative repercussions on Jones' business and negatively impacted Jones' standing and connection with Jones' works clients, making them more vulnerable to poaching by competitors like Nathan and Abel. Well, I mean, I guess that's true, because let's say your career's not going that well and you're paying 20 grand a month and you see all this come out, you might start believing this. Just days later, on August 25th, 2024, Business Insider turned the media storm surrounding Baldoni and Jones more pointedly to Nathan's advantage, publishing a second article that favorably touted Baldoni's hiring of Nathan to shepherd him through this crisis. The article, which on information and belief was again orchestrated by Nathan, noted that the negative attention on Lively was a gift to Baldoni. In parallel with these articles, John Doe's 1 to 10, who on information and belief were acting in concert with Abel and Nathan, published two false and defamatory websites about Jones and Jones' works, the websites. First, in the summer of 2024, the Doe defendants created and posted the web page www.stephaniejonesleaks.com, which was hosted by Hostinger International. Then, after that website was taken down in or around September 2024, The Doe defendants created and posted the webpage www.stephaniejoneslies.com, which is hosted by Namecheap.inc and still remains publicly available. Both websites were viewed and continue to be viewed by numerous third parties, including residents of New York County. Both websites contain or contained substantially identical, false, harassing, and defamatory statements about Jones and Jones works, including but not limited to statements that Jones bullied Jones Works employees, Jones and Jones Works interfered with the employment prospects of former Jones Works employees. I mean, in their contract, it says they have to wait 6 months or a year. That is contract. That is the corporate contract system for you. It's nothing special to her. Jones and Jones Works leaked confidential client information. Jones and Jones Works coerce clients into taking actions that are not in those clients' best interests. Wow. This sounds like a lot of projection going on. Let me just go back to the comments for a minute. So Kayla, Nathan is so Marga coded. Yeah. She used to work for this guy called Matthew Hiltzig, and Hiltzig did the PR for the Trump organized 2016 election, and Melissa Nathan is actually named in documents when the government in America was investigating the Cambridge Analytica involvement in the election. Her name was mentioned. Obviously, Steve Bannon is implicated in working with Cambridge Analytica. More than implicated, like he was actually paying for their services or putting investment into it. So that this all goes back to. I did make a video about it, which is called something like Melissa Nathan, Jed Wallace, and Brian Friedman, SEO and manipulation. I kept changing the title name because I was trying to like have it shown to the people that were interested in, but I think that's where I left it at. It has like everyone's face on the thumbnail, like Johnny Depp, because they did the Johnny Depp campaign. And by the way, Concerned Kitizen, I've heard of Laura Loomer now. I think she's meant to be a bit of a loony loomer. Yeah. She definitely worked for them. She was, I mean, they've done a very good job of deleting a lot of articles, but you know me, I go deep when it comes to the research and finding this stuff. And there was some stuff still remaining. And she was a spokesperson for Trump's daughter, not Ivanka. One of the other people that worked at TAG was Ivanka Trump's spokesperson, I think Carolina Hurley. Trump's daughter with the woman he wasn't married to. It was between Ivanka and Melania. I do have no idea of her name. Honestly, I wish I didn't know about these people. I really do. But when you start finding all of this stuff out, and it makes so much sense, that's what I mean. This goes so much deeper than celebrities. Okay. Let's carry on. Each of these statements is false. On information and belief, the Doe defendants published the defamatory statements on the website with knowledge of their falsity, or at least a minimum with reckless regard for the truth, with the specific intent to harm Jones and Jones Works in their business by causing them to incur reputational harm and lose clients. All the while, Abel has been making arrangements to leave Jones Works with confidential information and clients in tow. On July 19th, 2024, while still employed by Jones Works, albeit filed paperwork to create RWA Communications LLC, the competing public relations agency she intended to start upon her departure from Jones Works, Abel also had created a website and social media account, a Pinterest page, perchance, for her new competing firm, all while still employed by and under contract with Jones Works. At least as early as July 22, 2024, Abel had created a new email account, jennifer@rwacommunications.com, to which she forwarded dozens of proprietary messages from Jones Works, including client information, Jones Works work product, and information specifically regarding Jones Works work for Wayfarer and Baldoni. Abel successfully hid her theft of confidential documents and information. Abel surreptitiously continued stealing documents and clients' information while also secretly contacting Jones Works clients to pave the way for her departure. As her planned departure neared, Abel boasted to Nathan about the damage she was doing to Jones Works, her then current employer, and Nathan goaded her on. "We are going to war, I feel so alive, ha 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 ha." We've read that already. Indeed, when Jones Works information technology personnel disabled Abel's access to Jones Works servers after discovering her unauthorized downloading activity, Abel boasted that she was still able to steal all of the documents and information she needed to form her own competing firm. Oof, did you get everything you needed before she did all of that? Yes, pretty much. I have my way around that because I have like hundreds of different emails for each domain that I own, so she can suck it. So Jennifer Abel owns domains? Ooh, hundreds of different emails. Jennifer Abel could be a secret troll. I'm just saying. That's one of the first signs. Abel further coordinated with Nathan and Baldoni to ensure that Wayfarer and Baldoni would leave Jones Works and come with her as clients for her newly created RWA Communications. So, yeah, Melissa sucked up to Baldoni on her behalf. Unbelievable. Just shows you how shallow and uninformed he is. Because, I mean, anyone with intelligence would be suspicious of that kind of behavior. He just doesn't have his wits about him. I mean, that's why you employ executives. If you're not good at thinking, that's fine. But then if two of you are making these terrible decisions, this is where it ends up. So we've got through 40 pages. I think I'm going to wrap it for tonight. But tomorrow night, so we've got this video coming out tomorrow. So I'm not sure if I'll be going live. And then the following night, we may be doing a live reaction to something. We're just waiting to see whether someone else drops a video which is connected to this lawsuit, and that's why I wanted to do this reading, because I'm literally giving you proper coordinated entertainment. I'm bringing you a schedule. I'm bringing you a schedule here. Anyway, it's been really interesting reading that through. There are also exhibits attached to this document as well, so we can definitely bring up some of them. But it's definitely good to get more context on all of this. And I think I've been through all the comments, but thank you so much for coming into the live chat and making it that little bit more interactive and interesting. It's great to hear from you all. All right, guys, I hope this was a better one than they have been. I feel like I'm getting the hang of this platform, so onwards and upwards. We'll be going back to StreamYard in, I think, about a couple of days. All right, guys, take care. Peace out. Good night.